right, ladies, let me ask you something. Have you ever had that one guy who's always around, always paying attention, but never actually says how he feels? You're sitting there thinking, is he into me, or am I just imagining things? Well, let me tell you something. Men may not always say it with words, but their actions, oh, they tell the whole story. And if you're missing these signs, you might be ignoring someone who's been secretly into you this whole time. So today we're about to break it all the way down. The undeniable signs that a man is attracted to you, but is keeping it on the low. Pay attention, because if he's doing these things, girl, he's feeling you. When a man is secretly attracted to you, one of the most obvious but often overlooked signs is his consistent presence. He will find ways to be around you, even if there's no logical reason for him to be there. It's not just about proximity, it's about intentional positioning. A man who likes you will subtly insert himself into your routine, whether it's at work, social gatherings, or even in casual, everyday moments. You might not notice it at first, but when you look back, you'll realize he always seems to be where you are. This doesn't mean he's following you around or making it obvious. In fact, a man who's secretly attracted to you will often make it seem coincidental, as if it just so happens that he's there. Maybe he suddenly starts showing up at your favorite coffee shop, even though he used to get his morning coffee somewhere else. Perhaps he begins attending events or activities you enjoy, even if they're not typically his thing. If you work together, you might notice that he takes his lunch break at the same time as you, or frequently walks by your desk. These are not random occurrences. They are subtle efforts to be near you without being too direct. One of the most telling signs is when he actively makes adjustments to his schedule to align with yours. If you regularly go to the gym at a certain time, and he suddenly starts going around the same time, that's a clue. If he wasn't into a certain hobby before, but now expresses an interest because you like it, that's another indicator. Men who are attracted to someone will find ways to integrate themselves into their daily routine without making it seem forced. It's also worth noting that his presence isn't just physical, it's also about engagement. He won't just be around you, he'll interact with you in subtle ways. Maybe he makes small talk, jokes with you, or asks you for recommendations. He might not even have a real reason to be near you, but he'll come up with one just to have an interaction. A great example of this is when a man who normally wouldn't attend a particular event suddenly decides to show up because he knows you'll be there. Imagine you're at a friend's birthday party and you see a guy you casually know, but he doesn't usually hang out with that group. He's there, laughing, chatting, blending in, but you notice that throughout the night, he somehow always ends up near you. Maybe he's not glued to your side, but he drifts in and out of conversations within earshot, making sure to engage with you when the opportunity arises. It feels natural, but if you step back and observe, you'll realize that his presence isn't random. It's deliberate. Another example is a workplace scenario. Let's say you work in a large office, and there's a guy who always happens to be in the break room when you are. Maybe he even changes his seating arrangement during meetings so he can be closer to you. He might play it cool, acting like he's just going about his day, but in reality, he's making sure he has little moments with you. Over time, these repeated coincidences start to form a pattern. The key takeaway here is that when a man is interested in you, he doesn't leave it up to fate to run into you. He creates opportunities. He doesn't always make it obvious, because if he's secretly attracted to you, he may not want to risk rejection or make his feelings too apparent. Instead, he takes a more subtle approach, ensuring that he's in your space just enough for you to notice him. So if you start seeing the same guy in places you frequent, if he suddenly shares interests similar to yours, or if he always seems to find a reason to be where you are, pay attention. It's not just coincidence, it's attraction in disguise. A man's body language can reveal far more than his words ever will. When a man is secretly attracted to you, his subconscious movements and gestures will give away his true feelings, even if he's trying to keep them hidden. The way he positions himself around you, his facial expressions, and the small, almost unnoticeable things he does all point to his interests. This kind of communication is often more honest than spoken words because it's automatic and not easily controlled. One of the biggest giveaways is how he positions his body when he's around you. If he is facing you directly with his feet, chest, and shoulders aligned toward you, it means he's focused on you. Additionally, he may lean in when you talk, closing the distance between you without even realizing it. This leaning in behavior is an unconscious way of signaling interest and attraction. Eye contact is another powerful indicator. If he holds eye contact with you longer than usual or frequently makes deep, meaningful eye contact, he's trying to connect on an emotional level. It's not the same as casual glances. It's a gaze that lingers just a little longer, as if he's studying your face or waiting for a response. Sometimes he might quickly look away when you catch him staring because he doesn't want to make it obvious. If this pattern happens often, it's a clear sign he's attracted to you. Another important sign is mirroring. When a man is secretly attracted to you, he will subconsciously mirror your movements and gestures. If you cross your legs, he might do the same. If you take a sip of your drink, he might follow. This happens because people naturally mimic those they feel connected to without even thinking about it. Mirroring creates a sense of rapport and comfort. And if you notice this happening frequently, it's an undeniable signal of his attraction. There are also smaller, subtle gestures that indicate attraction. If he fidgets with his clothes, adjusts his watch, or fixes his hair when you're around, he's subconsciously trying to look his best for you. He may not even realize he's doing it, but these small movements are his way of preparing himself for your attention. Similarly, if he finds little excuses to touch his face, neck, or lips while talking to you, it's a sign of nervous excitement, which often accompanies attraction. Another strong indicator is how he reacts when other people enter the conversation. If he was initially leaning in, facing you directly and engaging with you, but then someone else joins and he subtly shifts his body away, it's a sign that he was specifically focused on you before the interruption. A man who is secretly attracted to you will always reorient himself toward you, even in a crowded room. A great example of this is when you're at a social gathering and you notice a guy always positioning himself near you. Even if he's talking to someone else, his feet are still pointed in your direction and he frequently glances over at you. When you laugh, he smiles even if he didn't hear the joke. If you lean on the table, he does too, mirroring your movements without even realizing it. Later, when you step away, you notice he subtly follows, making sure he's still within your space. Another scenario could be at work. Imagine you're having a discussion with a group, and this guy is standing close, engaging with you more than anyone else. He leans in when you speak, holds eye contact longer than necessary, and occasionally fixes his tie or smooths his shirt when you're looking. Even when other people contribute to the conversation, his primary focus stays on you, and his body keeps shifting back in your direction. These are all subconscious signs that he's drawn to you but may not have openly expressed it yet. The key takeaway is that body language speaks volumes, even when words are held back. A man who is secretly attracted to you will exhibit small but meaningful physical cues that reveal his feelings. The way he positions himself, his eye contact, his mirroring of your actions, and even his nervous habits all paint a picture of attraction. If you pay attention to these signs, you'll be able to see through the words and into what he truly feels. When a man is secretly attracted to you, his tone of voice and the way he communicates with you will be noticeably different from how he talks to others. His voice, choice of words, and even the way he listens to you will all reflect his deeper interest, even if he's trying to hide it. This happens because attraction naturally influences how a person interacts with someone they admire, making their speech more engaging, intentional, and emotionally charged. One of the biggest giveaways is how his voice changes when he talks to you. If he has a naturally deep voice, he might lower it even more without realizing it, as deeper tones are often associated with masculinity and confidence. If his voice is naturally lighter, he may soften it when speaking to you, creating a more intimate and engaging tone. The key here is that his voice will sound different when he speaks to you compared to when he talks to others. Pay attention to whether he slows down, emphasizes certain words, or adjusts his pitch. These changes indicate that he's invested in the conversation and wants to make an impression. Another sign is the enthusiasm and energy in his voice. A man who is secretly attracted to you will sound more excited and engaged when he talks to you. His words will be full of energy, and he will naturally emphasize certain things to keep you interested. Even if the conversation is about something simple, he'll put in extra effort to make it engaging. He might also laugh more at your jokes, even when they aren't particularly funny, just because he enjoys interacting with you. Beyond his voice, the way he listens to you is just as revealing. If a man is truly interested in you, he won't just hear what you're saying, he'll listen intently. His responses will be thoughtful, and he will remember details from past conversations, bringing them up later as a way to show he pays attention. He might recall something you mentioned in passing days or weeks ago, like your favorite coffee order or a story about your childhood, and casually reference it in another conversation. This isn't just polite listening. It's a sign that he values what you say and is making a conscious effort to understand and connect with you. Another key indicator is how often he initiates conversations with you. A man who is secretly attracted to you will find reasons to talk to you, even about the smallest things. He might ask for your opinion on random topics, share something interesting he saw, or simply check in on how your day is going. Even if he's naturally quiet or reserved, he'll push himself to engage in conversations with you more often than with others. One great example of this is when you're at work and you notice that a particular guy always finds reasons to talk to you. Maybe he asks for your help with something he could have figured out himself, or he starts casual conversations about things unrelated to work. His tone is always warm and inviting, and you realize that he speaks to you with more excitement and depth compared to how he interacts with others in the office. Another example is when you're at a social event and you notice that this guy laughs more when you speak, leans in to hear you better, and responds in a way that makes the conversation feel effortless and enjoyable. He doesn't just nod along, he builds on what you say, asks thoughtful questions, and reacts in a way that shows genuine interest. Ultimately, a man's voice and communication style will always reflect his true feelings, even when he tries to keep them hidden. His tone, the way he listens, and the effort he puts into conversations all reveal how much he values your presence. If you notice that his voice softens, his excitement increases, and his attention to detail sharpens when he's talking to you, it's a strong sign that he's secretly attracted to you. When a man is secretly attracted to you, he will find subtle yet meaningful ways to be protective over you. This doesn't mean he will act overly dominant or controlling. It's more about small gestures that show he cares about your well-being and comfort, whether it's in social settings, everyday situations, or moments when you need support. He will instinctively step in to make sure you're okay. His protective nature will often come out in ways that may seem casual at first, but when you look closely, you'll realize they're signs of deeper attraction and emotional investment. One of the clearest indicators is his body language in public. If you're walking together, he may naturally place himself on the side closest to the street, subtly acting as a barrier between you and potential danger. If you're in a crowded area, he might guide you through the space, gently placing his hand on your back or ensuring you stay close. He does these things without thinking because his subconscious desire is to keep you safe, even in small ways like making sure you get home safely after a night out or walking you to your car. His protective instincts will show. Another major sign is how he reacts when he senses you're uncomfortable. If someone is making you feel uneasy or if you're in an awkward situation, he will step in, whether it's by shifting the conversation, standing closer to you, or even offering a polite excuse to help you exit the situation. This kind of subtle but intentional support is a key sign that he's looking out for you in a way he wouldn't for just anyone. His concern for your well-being goes beyond politeness. It's a sign that he sees you as someone special. Pay attention to how he responds when you're stressed, tired, or unwell. A man who is secretly attracted to you will show concern in ways that might not be overly dramatic, but are still meaningful. If he notices you're cold, he might offer you his jacket. If you seem tired, he might suggest taking a break or offer to get you a coffee. These gestures may seem small, but they come from a place of genuine care and attention. The key here is that he notices and acts without being asked. Another way his protective side appears is in his advice and problem solving. When you share your struggles, he won't just listen, he will actively try to help, offering solutions or asking if there's anything he can do. This doesn't mean he's trying to control your decisions. Rather, he genuinely wants to make things easier for you. If he goes out of his way to check up on you after you've had a rough day or send you a message to make sure you're okay, that's a clear sign he's invested in your happiness and safety. An excellent example of this is when you're out with a group of friends and he subtly keeps an eye on you. If you're wearing heels and walking on an uneven surface, he might instinctively offer his arm for support. If it's late and you need to get home, he'll ask if you have a safe ride or even offer to walk you to your car. These are small but deeply telling actions that show he cares about your well-being. Another scenario could be in a workplace setting. Imagine you're carrying a heavy load of files and before you even ask, he steps in and offers to help. Or maybe you feel overwhelmed with a project and he not only notices, but offers to assist or give advice. These moments are subtle, but they reveal how much he values you and wants to make sure you're comfortable. At the core of all these actions is one simple truth. A man who is secretly attracted to you will naturally look out for you, whether in big or small ways. He won't always say it directly, but his actions will speak for him. The way he instinctively protects you, ensures your comfort, and supports you in everyday situations all point to one undeniable fact. He cares about you more than he's letting on. When a man is secretly attracted to you, one of the most revealing signs is how he mirrors your actions and behavior. Mirroring is a subconscious way people connect with those they feel drawn to. It happens when someone unconsciously copies another person's body language, tone of voice, gestures, or even phrases. This is not something he does intentionally. It's a natural psychological response to attraction and a deep desire to build rapport with you. One of the easiest ways to spot this is through body language. If you cross your arms, he might do the same shortly after. If you lean in while talking, he may unconsciously mirror your posture. Even the way he stands or positions himself in a group setting will often reflect yours. These small actions show that he is subconsciously syncing with you, trying to establish a deeper level of connection without even realizing it. Another major sign of mirroring is in speech patterns. If you tend to use certain words, phrases, or expressions, you might notice that he starts using them too. This happens because he enjoys the way you speak and wants to connect with you on a more personal level. Even his tone and speed of speech may adjust to match yours. If you speak softly, he might lower his voice to match your energy. If you are excited and animated, he may naturally become more expressive as well. Mirroring can also be seen in habits and preferences. If he's secretly attracted to you, he may start picking up on your interests even if you didn't care about them before. For example, if you mention a favorite show or type of music, he might later bring it up in conversation or even start watching or listening to it himself. This is his way of finding common ground with you and creating a connection that feels natural and effortless. A great way to test if a man is mirroring you is to make a small, intentional movement and see if he follows. Try touching your hair, adjusting your watch, or leaning to one side. If after a few seconds he mimics your action without realizing it, that's a clear sign that he is deeply in sync with you on a subconscious level. Another key aspect of mirroring is emotional reflection. If you're excited about something, he will match your enthusiasm. If you're feeling down, he might become quieter and more comforting. This emotional alignment is his way of showing that he's attuned to your feelings and wants to connect with you on a deeper level. A simple but powerful example of mirroring can happen in a casual setting. Imagine you're at a coffee shop talking to a group of friends. You notice that every time you take a sip of your drink, he does the same a few moments later. Or if you adjust your posture, he shifts his position shortly after. These are not coincidences. They are subtle yet undeniable signs that he is subconsciously aligning himself with you. Another example could be during a conversation. If you tend to use certain hand gestures when you speak, you might notice him doing the same thing even though he doesn't normally talk that way with others. Or if you start nodding while he talks, he might instinctively nod back in the same rhythm. These little behaviors show that he is deeply engaged with you and naturally drawn to your presence. At the heart of it all, mirroring is one of the most powerful yet subtle signs of attraction. It's not something that can be faked or forced. It happens naturally when someone feels a strong connection with another person. If you notice that he mirrors your movements, speech, and emotions consistently, it's a strong indicator that he is not only attracted to you, but also deeply interested in forming a meaningful connection. So ladies, if you see these signs, don't ignore them. A man who is secretly attracted to you might not say it outright, but his actions are telling you the truth. Now, the real question is, what are you going to do about it? If you like him too, maybe it's time to give him a little sign. And if you're not interested, well, at least now you know who's been watching. Stay smart, stay confident, and always know your worth.